My name is Tony Stout, and I'm here to discuss the topic of HR management in the 21st century. Whether a small mom and pop organization or a global corporation, human resource management, or HRM, plays a significant role in the success of the company. Impacted by organizational diversity, the global environment, and the changing nature of the customer base, leaders must focus more energy on understanding their employees, partners, and customer base, which requires a greater focus on hiring the right individuals with the right skills to succeed. Since performance is a key element of success, it has now enabled leaders to link the selection of human capital resources through HRM to the performance of the organization and ultimately goal achievement. This is where HRM moves from a tactical or day-to-day operation to a strategic component of the organization. Strategic Human Resource Management, or SHRM, allows leaders to implement a sustainment strategy to ensure long-term success. Tactical Human Resource Management involves a traditional function-focused approach. This includes hiring, dismissal, records keeping, promotions, and advancement. Historically, organizations had personnel or human resources as if it was a static support structure or add-on feature to the organization. In this model, HRM is a reactive component of the organization. Strategic decisions are made in the boardroom or at the senior level and then handed down from on high for subordinate departments to figure out how to implement, and they often lack the context or strategic intent to apply to the process. This results in potentially hiring the wrong candidate for future needs. So what's missing? Future is the key, and organizational leaders have begun to understand this as it relates to the organization's strategy. This shift in focus also requires a shift in the view of the HRM unit. By shifting to a strategic view, organizations can now align their HRM functions directly with developmental goals rather than being purely functional component. As described, this new vision of HRM strategic value is dependent on the quality of the HRM professionals assigned, and focusing the initial hiring on the right HRM professionals results in an elevation of hiring actions across the organization. To be effective and truly strategically focused, this move toward SHRM must be broad in scope, focus on the future of the company, increase their competitive advantage, and positively impact the long-term goals of the company. So how has HRM evolved? In this new model, SHRM becomes the point of presence for the employee, from hiring to departure, whether through resignation, termination, or retirement. Additionally, departmental leaders now understand the importance of HR and its function and can use that relationship to achieve their departmental and organizational goals, whether internal, most commonly referred to as performance metrics, or external, usually referred to as competitiveness. Performance as a measure of human capital has been around since the 1960s, and this makes perfect sense as an employee's skills and abilities impact the rate and quality of production. The shift to SHRM requires an additional shift in the mentality of both leaders and members of the organization. Employees must understand their role in the organization, how what they do leads to goal completion through both performance and competitive value, and what that end result means to them. So now that the employees have bought into the organization's goals and the professional HR staff hires the right people, who holds the cards? As we invest in the employees and train them to the level we need, what's to keep them from leaving for another company? The answer is nothing. This is a risk leaders often face. The bigger question is, what if I don't train my employees appropriately? The answer to the last question is obviously decreased productivity, which we've already tied to the organization's success. So failing to adequately invest in our human capital, whether through hiring at the right level with the right pay, mentoring and training, or recognizing outstanding performance, represents an opportunity cost to the organization, just the same as deciding not to expand a factory. However, by doing these things right, leaders not only retain the right employees and achieve higher performance levels, they also cultivate a culture of loyalty for the brand, the organization, and the unit to which they belong. This, in the long run, can lead to a pipeline of new, well-qualified employees. This evolution in HRM is not just about the people. It includes all aspects of the organization. We've already discussed the change in human capital, which includes how they are hired, trained, and retained. This also includes the HR professionals. The next element to be both understood and managed is technology. With the expansion of the online environment, leaders and managers have an added level of complexity when managing employees, especially as it relates to performance metrics. Lastly, the environment itself must be applied to HR's understanding of the requirements. Is the employee going to be expected to work in isolation, in a group environment, in small teams? How will the employee be monitored and supervised? These are all questions that go into hiring the right employee. Empirical evidence demonstrates not only the importance of HRM, but the need for SHRM to increase the odds of success. Whether applied to a small business or large corporation, localized global environment, or for-profit or not-for-profit organization, the strategic use of human resources is clearly articulated in the statement by Lieutenant Colonel Darwin Frett. The measure of a good plan is not whether execution transpires as planned, but whether the plan facilitates effective action in the face of unforeseen events. The outcome-based view of HRM moves the leadership focus away from just day-to-day support to a future view of the organization and how SHRM can achieve those goals. Thank you for listening.